Classmates, teacher, good afternoon. My name is Heredia and together with me, Ángela. Today we are going to talk about
an extensive reading
and vocabulary building. So let's get started.
About the extensive reading, the best readers are people who love to read and read a lot. So an extensive reading is when you read a lot in a short period of time. And you have to choose a book that you like it and you want to read. You have to practice reading because you can understand better sentences and you can start to think in English, and it's so important. About the new vocabulary, you will find some words that you can understand the meaning of. So first you have to ignore that word and continue reading and try to understand in the context that word. And you can analyze the word and maybe the part of speech or the suffix or the prefix. And then if you didn't understand the meaning of the word, you can look for it in the dictionary. About the fiction and non-fiction books, the fiction are books that is not real and it's more complete to read because you can understand a lot of the words that is in the book. And also it has a message to the end of the book, of the text. About the non-fiction, it is texts or books that are facts. There are books that are based on history or science, then places or things that is real. About the books, you have to be sure that it's a correct book for you. First, you have to want to read this book, you have to like this book, and then you have to check that it's the correct level for you, that you can understand the words and all the contents of the book. You have to fill in a book report. I am going to show you how is the book report.
Part 2. I'm going to talk about vocabulary building. Guidelines for learning vocabulary. To become a good reader and to understand the context, you need to know about the words that you are learning, that you are reading in the text. If you want to read better, if you want to know more words, it's very important to read a lot. That's the way when you're going to learn a lot of words and obviously the context. So here I give you 2 tips for a better reading and to understand the vocabulary and the new words. The first one, make good use of the dictionary. Learn the pronunciation, spelling, and part of the speech of new words. 2. Learn the different meanings and how to use a word. Study vocabulary often. Use a vocabulary notebook and study cards to help you learn and review and view new words. Make a good use of dictionary. You have to use a better dictionary to understand the meaning of some of the words because one word could have different meanings depending if it's a noun, depending part of the speech. If you want to read it better and faster, it's very important to know the pronunciation. That's the way when the people is going to understand when you're speaking. If you don't have a good pronunciation, people usually could not understand. It's important to say that one word could have different kind of meanings. That's why we have to know the synonyms, that we have to know the different meaning of each sentence. For example, if a word is a noun, obviously the meaning is going to change. But if the word is a verb, we have to understand the context and how to use that word. That is why we have to understand the different meanings. Study vocabulary often. It's very important to take notes on the words that we don't understand or we don't know. And it's very good to repeat at least 6 times per week. 1 on Monday, 1 on Tuesday, etc., etc. 1 per day. It's not important to read, to practice the word the same time, the same day 6 times. No, you just have to take 1 day for the word, and there's a better way to learn and to understand that word. Use study cards to review. It's very important to print or to draw a card with the word, and behind the other part you can put the meaning, the part of the speech, and that's one way to keep the information or to keep the meaning of that word, so don't forget in basic words. Unit 2. Learning new words from your reading. Choosing words from there. It's very important to recognize the 1,000 more common and useful words that you could find at the page 293. So you can see in the picture right now with are a lot of words that are useful and we can apply when we are reading. It's very important. Unit 3. Guessing meaning of the context. As the name said, it's very important to know how to use a word in the context. So to start, what is a context? The context, it is the sentence or sentences around the world. So, from the context, you can learn a lot of words. And how do we recognize it? Check it out. 1. You can learn the part of a speech and you can often understand the general meaning. Guessing the meaning of phrases. That when we want to translate a phrase, it is not the same meaning of the translation that what the word means. That's why the phrasal verbs are so important to learn and to understand in the context. So, how do we understand that? Do we have to check the phrases in a single word in the sentence? And we have to think about the part of the speech in the same way that you use in a single word. That is basic. Unit 4. Word parts. To understand or to learn about a complete word, we have to use or we have to recognize the different parts that are composed in a word. So, we have 3 points that are very important. So, let's check. 1. The root is the most important part of the word. For example, pleasant. The prefix is the part added before the root. For example, pleasant. And the suffix is a part added after the root. Example, pleasantly. Depending on how to start and how to end a word, you can understand if it is an adverb, a verb, or adjective. Unit 5. How words are used together. People often use certain words to put together in a phrase. So you are reading, you will understand better. You have to recognize what words you have to use it. So that we have a common types of phrases. Pay attention.
Verb plus adjective plus noun. For example, do you know how to ride a horse? Verb plus adjective plus adverb. For example, he got sick last week. Adjective plus noun. Every morning I drink a cup of strong tea. Noun plus preposition plus noun. Would you like a glass of water? A phrasal verb. Verb plus preposition. I pick up a DVD on my way home. Prepositional phrase. At the top of the hill there was a nice view. Adverbial phrase. It rained day after day.
Unit 6. How words work in a sentence. Understanding a sentence means more than just knowing a word. That's why we have to understand and to know how to understand a word inside a completely sentence. So do we have 3 parts. 1. Find the key part of sentence. 2. Understand the reference of pronouns. And 3. Recognize words and phrases that refer to the same thing. The key parts of sentences are the subject and the verb. So, what are the subject and the verb? The subject tells who or what the sentence is about. And the verb tells what the subject does. Could be in the past, in the present, and obviously in the future.
About the pronouns, there are words that are small, but it's so important to know the different pronouns that we have. For example, we have the subject pronouns, I, you, he, she, it, we, they, and object pronouns, me, you, him, her, it, us, them, and the possessive adjectives, my, your, his, her, its, our, their. To conclude, I hope you can understand what is an extensive reading, so you now can put it in practice and you can read more and learn more vocabulary.
So you know now that for a better vocabulary understanding, you have to find a dictionary, but a better dictionary. I hope you enjoy all of this and to understand. My name is Oscar Heredia, together with me,
Ángela,
and I see you in the next time. Bye.